USS Arizona was sunk by a single 1,760-pound armor-piercing action bomb. It hit midway between the ship's bow and its number 1 gun turret. It penetrated through 6 decks of steel and exploded in the main aviation fuel storage tank. The force of the explosion was so great that it raised the bow of the ship completely out of the water and split her right behind the number 1 gun turret. The Arizona then sank in less than 9 minutes' time and burned internally for 2 days and 2 nights.
One of the guys, when he came around the bend on that ship after the attack, he put his hand on the shoulder of a buddy of his, and just a hunk of flesh came off of his hand from that guy. And men came out from where this blast was. They didn't have a stitch of clothes left on them. Just completely black coming out of that fiery, smoky area. And some of those guys got off that ship. They didn't know how they got off. Some were yanked off. Some were blasted off. Those that were blasted off, of course, if you can imagine, not even knowing they had an enemy, and all of a sudden finding themselves out there in the water. The oil in the water was on fire, and of course they had to come up for air. They'd have to do like this and get that little fiery water to the sides, the oil, so they could get a breath of air. And then they keep doing that, Lord knows how many times, before they got over to Fort Island.
I saw the dive bombers come down, and it looked like the bomb went right down the stack, undoubtedly hit the magazine. But it had also taken some torpedoes. But I think the bomb that blew up the magazine's forward superstructure, and it just melted. The whole thing just melted.
Sound John Ford, I went to battle station. A lot of them got flash wounds because they had on shorts. Uniform today. We went in, all went to battle station. One of the kids looked up and says, "Man, they're making this drill mighty real. I can see the rising sun on the wing." Sweeney says, "You dumb ass, get to your battle station." Says, "This is no drill."
And I saw the rising sun. I supposed to know what it was. They got in the mount, the old ship's tailor, the bald-headed guy. He was getting out. I said, "Whose plane is that anyway?" He said, "Jack, the damn little Jack." And he come down straight them, and this is when I saw the rising sun inside of it, and he dropped his torpedo. And that doesn't hit the Oklahoma because he was in line.
Fortunately, those torpedoes that hit the reefs and exploded really saved us, you know. If we'd have gone down the channel, we'd have been in big trouble. But the only battleship, of course, that got underway was Nevada, and they ran it up on the beach, and we went astern of it and out the channel.
And we, I think, sunk the first enemy vessel. Now, there was some sunk outside the two-man job sub. That you see, they had the thing planned to Bloody Harbor. The first was the dive bombers hit the old Nevada, and they backed it up on the beach. They went out between the beach and the on the opposite side and the Nevada.
I'm a survivor off the USS Nevada. I was a loading on a 5-inch 25. I'm probably the only survivor off that gun. That was number 6, anti-aircraft gun.
That's the one that got hit, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, we had an ammo ready box blow up there. And I'm lucky, boy. Just damn lucky.
I guess you are.
Shrapnel went flying all over there. Yeah, I had shrapnel in my right leg, but I didn't want to tell them about it because I wouldn't have got aboard the St. Louis if I had it. They took it out on the lawn at the Pearl Harbor Naval Hospital. They took it out of my leg on the lawn. Hospital was full of people. If they could, with minus arms, legs, and everything, you couldn't even get in. That's the reason I got really kicked out of the radio gang was because I didn't realize the ear damage from Pearl Harbor at that time. My ears were shattered. And so, because I was on that 5-inch gun with no earplugs, nothing, you know, December 7th. And I had blood running out of my ears and everything.
I was there for December 7th, 1941, and we did see some action with our M1 rifles firing at the Zeros coming over, the Marine Barracks parade ground.
A bomb left the wing of the plane. I could sight down it just right like it was my finger. I thought, sure. The director officer saw it at the same time. This one's got us. And so we watched it come down, and then we cranked the hatch closed, and we sit down, passed the word for everybody to hang on. We was going to take a hit. Fortunately, the bomb missed us. It hit 90 degrees from us, went down between the pier and the Honolulu, which was tied up alongside. We bounced up and down in the water a few times.
We was the first ship out that day. Second, we was run into, I believe the first ship that was sunk.
First big ship.
Yeah, the first big ship.
And I think that was the fastest any ship that ever left Pearl Harbor. Because we sure left it in a hurry, didn't we? But we shot down 3 of the planes before we left Pearl Harbor. Our ship got credit for shooting down 3 of them and credit for assist in shooting down 3 others.
The thing I remember about Pearl Harbor is coming back in 3 days after Pearl Harbor, and I remember seeing all those boxes there of dead bodies there on the shore. I can still remember that even
About
to this
30
day.
foot high, but about 50 foot wide.
Yeah, all those boxes.
And they were still getting bodies up out of fishing them out of the water.
They never got them all out of those ships. There's some still in those ships right now, like the Arizona and all that. They never got them all out. But they had 2,400 and something stacked up there at IEA Landing at one time.
4, maybe 6 men aboard. They were very pale. And I asked this guy next to me, what in the world's the matter with those guys? They're so pale. He said they've been over there on the dock putting bodies and parts of bodies in pine boxes. And I guess, you know, boy, that really hit home to me.